Bigfoot. Myth, legend, or real? Find out on this week's episode of Staying Insane. Number?
18.
You never know. Probably in the title. I don't know what it is because I've filmed too many fucking episodes of this show. I like it? Of course I do. You? Better. Bigfoot will come into your bed at night. Okay, bye.
Boys, what a few eventful 4 days for myself since I last talked to you, gentlemen.
Oh yeah?
How are you doing tonight?
The world's on fire again.
Yes.
And still. And
World's on fire!
how about yours? What? We didn't say any copywritten songs. No. Nothing.
You wouldn't do that.
But yeah, things are weird, but okay, I guess. I don't know.
They're
Life.
just meh.
Yeah.
Just meh.
How about you, Adam?
It's hot. Hot outside. Busy, hot, and shitty. The world's just gone to shit, and I'm ashamed of the world. And
Yeah, I can
By you.
understand that. Yeah, I've been pretty busy at work this week. And before we get into the topics, I have a quick story. Today was the first time ever that I've even seen this. But what had happened is we were hooking up a new customer. It was a main line that they were hooking into, and was considered their service. Well, something happened to the main line that goes underneath the state road, to where it was leaking. So they ended up having to pull all of that pipe and then put new pipe in. And I was there, and I was helping a little bit. I was trying to stay out of the way more than help. So it was just super cool because what they ended up doing was threading a cable through and end up putting a cap on the one end and pulling it out stick by stick, and then actually pushing it back through. Because the way it works is water pipe comes in 20-foot sticks. So it was super cool. I had a lot of fun. They worked through lunch, which kind of upset me because I was really jonesing for my pork and rice. So I had that when I got home. So, but that was my eventful day. It was a lot of fun. The guys there were pretty cool. They almost got into a fight with my boss yesterday, so I'm glad that didn't happen today. So it's just a weird situation. So
Like an actual fight?
yeah, like my boss was about to take him behind the truck and beat the living fuck out of that old man. And Grammy, pardon my language, but that was what's going to happen. So
Oh my god.
who was in the right in your mind?
it wasn't anyone in the wrong for a fact. But it was two different people, one not understanding what the other one was trying to say.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So,
happens.
but it got all resolved, and my boss had his gun on him. So I'm glad they ended up not fighting, because that could have gotten very bad very quickly. I'm not saying he would have shot him, but I'm just saying things could have gone bad very quickly. So that's my exciting story for today, boys.
I don't have anything that exciting.
Oh, okay.
So
Me either. I never come close to almost shooting anyone ever.
William shot me with a bow and arrow.
What?
It was a training bit, but he shot me from my dad's deck, and actually shot me and hit me in the leg. And since it was a training arrow, it didn't like pierce or anything, just left a fucking nasty bruise. And I then charged him, and he ran inside and hid from me, as he should have. So,
Oh my god.
all right, that's enough interesting stories about Eddie's life.
I accidentally bullwhipped my sister in the face one time.
Okay.
Wow.
First off, where'd you get a bullwhip from?
I was trick-or-treating as Indiana Jones.
Ah.
So was it
and
like
so
a real
I bought
whip?
one on the internet. Yeah.
Wait, it was real
I was
bullwhip?
like, watch me. I mean, not like, it wasn't like the $300, $400 kind, but it was like a $50 bullwhip.
Okay, but so you
I was like, watch me crack it. Wha-pam! And it hit her in the eye.
Oh, jeez, oh, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never
Then
heard
I
that
lost
story
the whole
before.
whip. Yeah, it was a while ago. I never thought of it until you went, William shot me with an arrow. I was like, hey, I've used a weapon once. I don't know if a whip's a weapon, but
Oh, it's a weapon. 100% it's a weapon.
it's okay because I wasn't that strong. It wasn't like intentional either. It wasn't.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All right, wha-bam! Just like want to see me crack it, and it was longer than I like thought. And
Yeah.
It just, was stupid.
No, William intentionally shot me like an ass. So, but all right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes, as the kids call it nowadays. Why do I keep saying that phrase? But anyways, I want to talk about myths and beliefs a little bit tonight, and it's when I say beliefs, I'm not quite. It doesn't mean like cultural beliefs and stuff like that. But first off, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on aliens. Are they real? Are they not real? Have they been here? Have they not been here? What? Explain to the cosmos what your thoughts are.
To the cosmos is a good. I like that. Thank you. So I am a scientist through and through.
Yes.
So maybe my thoughts are different than maybe some other people's. I think that pardon my pun here, but the astronomically low chances of us being the only life in the entire universe is hard to believe.
Okay.
But I also think that, like, yeah, there could be something out there. There may even be now, not like even in the future, but now, probably microbial something or other, you know.
Okay.
Like tiny, the very first specks of any sort of life at all may be out there. So technically those are aliens because they're life from outside of our planet. But I also think that like we're probably the most advanced for now. Where Earth is a very young planet and our solar system is a very young solar system in the broad scheme of the length of the universe and the existence of at least our galaxy.
Yes.
We're very young. We are, 5 billion years old, the Earth, roughly speaking. So we're the first like wave of intelligent life that our solar system has seen, and that we can sum up as being here.
Okay.
So it's like it's a hard line to walk because like some of like I've watched Ancient Aliens before. Some of their shit's batshit crazy that they think happened. Other stuff, I don't know.
Kind of makes sense.
And I try and watch that show with a lot of skepticism on just about everything because some of those people are just like absolute, just batshit crazy. And others are like, but others are PhD physicists, astrophysicists, people who study that stuff for a living, went to college to learn about that stuff, and then still have the idea that maybe something else is out there. So, it's a hard line to walk, and I don't know. I feel like we might end up being the aliens to another civilization at some point. You know? I feel like we're a lot further ahead than probably anywhere else that we could even feasibly think of going to.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, but I also think that maybe we're missing a lot of information. So I think,
rather keep it, say Big Brother keeping it quiet so that it doesn't freak out the masses.
Yep. So, and not even just like current governments and whatnot.
Previous governments, previous civilizations.
So I think we're missing a lot of information from our ancient ancestors too. I think maybe they knew more than we do now, as a whole. Like, didn't have information kept away from them. You know, everybody knew about whatever all the time. It wasn't like now where, you know, a lot of things can be hushed up and, you know, kind of brushed under the carpet, so to speak. Swept under the rug. That's the phrase. I don't know. It's hard to walk that line of yes or no. It's a maybe for me, I guess.
Makes sense.
You know,
taking the scientist approach, it could be something or it could not be something.
Yeah. Adam, what do you think, man? No audio, dude.
Tim the Tatman was talking the other day on his stream, and he said, "You want to know how this is one of the craziest years ever? The government literally went, here, all these undisclosed things, bunch of UFOs that we've had happen."
Yeah.
And people were just like, nah. Okay,
Yeah.
well. So, I mean, that's something that's kind of along the lines of the conversation, but just in my terms, I find it hard to believe that there's not anything else somewhere in the universe.
Okay.
Because there's lots of it that we can't get to. There's lots of it we can't even see, I'm sure. Like,
99% of the universe.
Right, exactly. So, like, I find it hard to believe that, like, you know, if you're gonna just be like, how much life is in this 1% of the universe? So we'll just put it there, and the rest is just dead, I guess. That's fine. So, I mean, you know, I'm not nearly as advanced mentally as Jeremy, but just like, I've played a lot of video games, and like, there's aliens. So like, I think they just copied something that's like real life. Yeah, but like, you know, there's not much I could get into, you know, backed by like fact.
Okay.
I just like, if you think about that, like if you're like, let's just do a bunch of random stuff. Like if you, okay, all right. So if you get like 99 pennies, right, and you just throw them out all over the driveway, and then you get like a paint can, and you like throw it up in the air, and you just take a 12 gauge to it, and it goes, you know, you're more than likely gonna hit one or more pennies.
Okay.
With that paint can. Whoa, dude.
Keep going. I'm
It's
trying
fine.
to understand your
So
analogy here.
your thought
So, like,
is like the
It represents life, and the pennies represent percentages of our universe. You're more than likely to hit more than a couple pennies with paint.
Alright.
I just feel like that's how like, so there's more than likely more inhabitable planets somewhere in the universe.
Oh,
You know,
there's lots.
probably not
We
anywhere
al-
close to us.
We already
Then-
know of quite a few.
Right, yeah. Like, so in terms of that, life has probably happened somewhere else and is probably happening somewhere else, and, you know, they're probably...
maybe they
What
have
Jeremy was
3
saying.
assholes doing a podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know where I got that. This is all coming off, like, maybe 4 hours of sleep this past week, and,
Okay.
like, just, like, working and just blocking out the whole world because everyone's rude at work. As I was saying that analogy, I was like, people are gonna think I'm like drunk or something. What does that even have to do with anything? No, but I just try to think of things that are kind of in a weird way able to be understood. But you know, like, that's a weird analogy, but like, that's kind of how I think of it. Like, if you just took that, you're more than likely gonna end up with, you know, not paint. Paint isn't just gonna hit one of those pennies and that's it. Like, and everything else is perfectly clean.
Okay.
I'd like to think of it in terms of like, that is the Big Bang. It's just a 12 gauge shotgun hitting a can of paint onto the universe that is pennies.
Okay, I can understand that now. Okay.
I don't know, dude. I
that's
swear to God, I'm completely sober of everything. None of you. I haven't slept in a while, and I've been editing a lot, but
No, you're good, man.
and no, in all realism, like, it's hard to think that we're the only ones there. Whether or not, they're as intelligent as us, or if they're out there thinking the same things. Like, I wonder if there's life somewhere else. I don't know, but it's almost. I would say it's almost impossible that there isn't life somewhere else.
Okay.
Some sort of living. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I'm glad we all agree on this.
So like kind of throwing back to the, maybe it's just minuscule little microbes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or they're
right.
people like us. Maybe probably not people, but intelligent
Life
beings.
forms.
Intelligent beings. At least. Okay, Eddie.
You guys sugarcoated it. I'm gonna say it. You're absolutely fucking stupid if you think we're the only people in this fucking universe. Once again, Grammy, I apologize for my language, but honestly, I don't understand how people are like, no, we're the only things in this universe. You know how big this place is? We're literal atoms in comparison to the size of the scale of the universe. Not only our galaxy alone could have so much more. It's just,
We're one of, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of other galaxies. There's so... Yeah. It's an inconceivable amount of space and potential for life. It's like the most advanced people in the world can't put to scale like the
how
actual
big this place is.
Yeah, it's insanity.
So those are my thoughts. I honestly, if you believe we're the only people on Earth, the only people in this universe, just don't talk to me because I'm gonna roast you like I'm doing now. But only this time I'll get more upset. So, but I think, however, we have had aliens here before. And I know this is something I thought of when Adam was talking, but this is something I saw on Instagram. It was like, I think it was from a account called Shower Thoughts, and they said, what if aliens had come here, realized oxygen was a toxic gas, and didn't want to come back to the poison breathers? Because when you think about it, when you die of old age, you really typically die because your body's deteriorating because of all the nutrients and everything you've taken in over your life, and the oxygen you breathe constantly. So in a way, we are slowly killing ourselves with each breath. So it's just the thought that like we're posed as like the poison breathers. That blows my mind. I mean, even if it was a joke, it's kind of crazy to me.
Right.
So
I mean,
yeah, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, if I went to another planet and they were all picking on other aliens because of what color they were, I wouldn't want to be on that planet either. So, if an alien came here and they're like, wow, they're not accepting of everyone, they could probably just be like, this is the asshole planet, I'm out.
Okay, I now get where you're going for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, maybe they
Too
have
real, but,
well, maybe they have a higher sense of self-awareness and social acceptance. I guess maybe, I don't know.
I hope so.
But it could be
possible.
it could be
I hope
another
it's part of
planet. So like there's a Rick and Morty episode where they go to another planet and the whole planet is racist against other people because of their nipples.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Oh,
episode.
I've seen that. Yeah.
So it could be the same thing everywhere.
It could. It honestly could, and it's a thing. It's one of the things we'll never know
Until
unless
we get
have
to
that
that
But I
experience.
hope not. I hope
So-
not. Yeah.
We'll never figure out in our
let's-
lifetime.
No,
we
no
we
way.
will never
No.
know.
Out
We
of-
will never know.
Out of pure spite, I may just do it myself.
All right, Elon Musk, calm down.
Don't challenge me like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say I listened to a podcast with him in it the other day, and I don't know. That guy's got some ambition for his lifetime. Like, it's like talking about making half-human cyborgs, like in like 5 years.
Oh, that's
He's like,
keep going. Sorry.
he's like, it won't sneak up on you. Don't worry. And Joe Rogan's like, 5 years seems like pretty fast. Like, well, that's best case scenario. And he's like, oh.
But that's the other thing about what you said that Tim said the other day on his stream. SpaceX literally launched a rocket into space and successfully landed the second engine, and like people were enamored by it for like 30 minutes.
Dude,
And then
I'm not
back to
gonna
all
lie. we didn't really get that, at least in my lifetime. Like, that was a big deal to like my parents. They remember like all the space stuff that's happened. So, like, I've never seen that. So like we watched it live from work, and I like fucking teared up. Sorry, Grammy. I teared up. Like, I was like, holy Jiminy's they're like going to space. Like, I was like, wow. With everything going on, this is beautiful. No, it was actually also the fact that they landed that on a ship off the coast of like Canada. I was like, dude, science is insane. Like, watching that thing land, it's like, that doesn't look possible. That looks actually like reversed video of a takeoff is what it looks like. That there's no way that just happened. It's like landing a 13-ton pencil straight up on like a tiny little. I was blown away. Literally,
it was awesome. If you guys haven't heard about it yet for some reason, look up the SpaceX launch. It is absolutely wild.
Even if you're not a fan of Elon Musk, like, just like put all that aside and just appreciate how technologically insane that is.
Yes. So,
was that the most recent space launch that they just did, like last week or this week?
Yes.
They did that. I remember watching, because it wasn't the Falcon Heavy launches that they did a long time ago. I remember them working on the prototype engines for that and doing. Like shoot up and then land in the same spot as it took off. I remember them doing the tests for that and watching that while I was in some of my astrophysics classes, because it's a big deal. And my prof watched the original moon landing as a little girl.
Oh
yeah, so she's like, and she was in astrophysics. Everything. She did private research and all that nonsense too. Yeah. So she was like super enamored by it when they were doing the testing. I haven't spoken to her in a while, but I remember them doing the testing on all that. So that's really cool that they actually got to implement it in the most recent launch.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know a lot of people are gonna say it's fake because at least the stream I was watching, it paused when it was coming back down. Like they ran out of signal so it froze. And then when it came back, it was just there. But there's no way in hell they built or brought something of that size with the camera angle they had too in that amount of time. There's no way. I mean, because it was frozen for like 10 seconds maybe. So, but
people also there.
Well, there was the people on the ship that caught the rocket.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a crazy sentence. Just itself. Yeah, I caught the rocket.
It seriously is. Like, it's actually incredible though.
The other thing, and I know we've gotten on a side rant, but this is also, it's cool. It's gonna save them like I think they said like $63 million or something like that for the next launch because they caught the rocket.
Yeah, the cost that we had spent like just sending rockets into space and just letting them break off or do whatever or fall down and crash into the ocean was kind of insane. Like it was like you have to build a whole new rocket every single time, and it costs them not only the materials and then all that, but like the time too is insane to have to rebuild.
They have to pay the engineers and the workers and all of that. Now, granted, they're probably gonna have to do some repairs to it. I'm sure it didn't come down without a scratch on it.
Right, but the difference, maybe $5 million to fix it up rather than $63 million to build a new one.
Oh yeah.
So. That's good business.
Astronomical.
Shut up.
Oh!
We're all full of space puns today.
Oh yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as a completely different side of what I want to talk about tonight, we're talking about mythological creatures now. Now I want to know your beliefs if they existed or if they're still around, or do you think maybe something happened? First off, I wanted to start with, because it came to mind because we were playing a certain game that has it in its name, dragons. Do you guys think dragons ever existed? Do you think they were they went out of... Do you think they're hibernating? Do you think they're still around? Do you think man killed them all? Do you think they killed themselves? Just what's going on, boys?
So, that's a weird one.
All full weird.
Yeah, it's all weird. So I think that it's really oddly coincidental that many different cultures from around the world have depictions of dragons in their like ancient
Scripts.
yeah, and in their buildings and their historical sites and their religious sites and all that sort of stuff. Like Chinese have I don't remember the exact name of the kind of dragon, but the kind that like flies without wings.
A pseudo dragon.
I don't remember what they're called. That might be it. I don't know. And then there's like the Western style where they have 4 legs and great big wings and they're huge. Yep. And then there's also like a wyvern style where its wings and arms are the same thing. All those sorts of different things. And then South America with what the hell is it called? Quetzalcoatl, I think, is their big serpent.
What did you just call me? Sorry. You're good, buddy.
Quetzalcoatl, I think, is its name. I don't know, but it's like a great serpent or something. Yeah, okay, Adam. But that leads to the like idea that like how long ago did they exist? If they did, like were they around, or were they was it just dinosaurs that they saw that didn't go extinct, or
did they evolve from dinosaurs?
Right.
Or
what?
There dinosaur bones that were dragon bones that were mistaken for dinosaur bones because of their size.
Right.
So
where do those weird inconsistencies in like mythology and science where they meet that they don't really have an explanation for? And history too. So like it's a weird spot because like I don't know because like I wasn't there. Like I have no like yes or no answer for you, but I'm gonna lay out all the things that I have that make me skeptical. So like where would all of those legends of dragons and stuff and
giant serpents be started if there wasn't something to
back that idea? Or what?
I mean, I'm just gonna throw this in here and then we're just gonna move on because we don't talk about this kind of stuff on the podcast, but could say similar things about the whole Jesus thing.
Right.
Lots of different people have opinions on that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
It's a similar type concept.
Yeah, so it's all like I don't know. You weren't there, so you don't know for sure. There's never going to be a 100% yes or no.
Unless you build a time machine.
All right, that's a topic I'll have to talk to you about off camera.
Are you working on one?
Wait.
Yes, I am.
Oh, Jeremy, the astrophysicist.
What? Not astro, just physicist.
I'm small brain Adam.
It's okay.
I know
I'm
food.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't know space.
No, it's so time travel. There are particles that time travel, kind of.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
That's
tried to listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about it, and I like grew up.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and I don't have personally enough information to tell you whether I believe or not. I like to think that all myths and all legends are based somewhere in a realm of truth.
Okay.
Because the craziness that comes with a lot of those is kind of hard to like dwell up out of nowhere. Like you just don't start a legend about a dragon out of nowhere. You don't. Yeah. Like the Loch Ness Monster is another thing you could kind of
hold your horses. Okay. Wait for the announcement.
Okay. But like all those different things are I don't know. They come from somewhere. I don't know what, and I don't know where, but they come from somewhere.
Okay. Adam, my Pringley boy.
I agree. I mean, that like, it's weirdly coincidental that it's just like, wow, we all have this thing that we like all kind of call like our own thing, but is kind of similar to the same thing, you know? Like, again, like along the line of like how religions exist, you know, there's a bunch of different things of one thing, one idea. I feel like, it has to come from something, the same way religion probably has to come from something. Like, nobody just all made up this book about this one dude who was like pretty great, and then you're just like, oh wow, weird, we're all like similar. It has to be based around like something, and which is probably like before we had an understanding of like animals, like, you know, like something really ironic happened, like a dinosaur was like flying, like a caveman was like looking up at him, and then like he did like an aerial. And then right as he did the aerial, like a volcano went off in the background, and he was like, "Oh, that thing just breathed fire! Oh my god! Like, we're gonna die!" And then like he like went drew it on his cave wall, and then like all the other guys were like, "I saw that too," even if they didn't. Then like hundreds of people were like, "Oh, yeah," and you know like. But, you know, like, I feel like probably it did come from dinosaurs or something like before we had a good understanding of fossils and like, weren't preserving them as well. Like, he was, like, you know, digging or, you know, like, laying a foundation and came across, like, a T-Rex or a Stegosaurus that had died, like, underneath, what's the flyy ones?
Pterodactyl?
Pterodactyl, thank you. Oh my god, I seem like such an idiot since we're talking science.
What's the flyy ones?
That's gonna be a thing.
Oh god, I hate myself. Flyy ones. But like something like that where you're like, oh, this is a dragon. And everybody's like, sounds good to me. And then you're like, okay. Oh, let them know in the books or something. I don't know if it's possible. You know, again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not like very smart with how like even the human body works. I don't know if it's possible for a animal to like produce projectile flames and be like safe.
So there's bugs that spit acid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And snakes that spit venom.
Right.
And there's a bug actually. It shoots acid out of its butt at, I think it's like 150 degrees Celsius or something.
Ew.
It's insane. Like it like evaporates almost, or it like evaporates. I don't know the word. Like smokes and burns like the instant it touches flesh. And
Imagine being the guy
that
who
discovered that.
those are not edible.
Oh.
He's the Chica Biga bug.
No eat! No eat!
Eat! Chica Biga bad! And you know, I like to think I'm not that far away from a caveman. Sharpness wise, at least. Anyway, no. Chica Biga bug. No, but that'd be terrifying to even come across in the wild. Even now that you've told me this, if I was ever just like lost somewhere and came across that, I'd still have like a panic attack immediately. I'd be like, I'm hallucinating. I need to like, I'm dehydrated. Something's happening. Yeah, no, I feel like it had to come from something like that or something along the lines before we were like far long enough to be super scientific and really understand things that like had the ability to even understand or fathom what's happening, you know? Like, I don't know, because then there's like stuff like, you know, like there's lots of mythological creatures where like you really don't know where some of these ideas come from.
Okay.
I feel like there
Where
has
do
to be
werewolves
something.
come from? Where do vampires come from? Like, what's the deal with all those?
Right.
I think I know where vampires came from.
Well, yeah.
Weird rapey men.
Maybe. Dracula,
Sharp teeth.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's yeah. But I understand what you're saying, Adam.
Like, the unicorns, did somebody just like one day were like, take a bison horn and we're like, I'll put it on my horse for power, and then they're like, it's a unicorn, what? And then now it's just a thing, like, you know, or like, did some really buff dude just one time like kill a bison and then put his head on his head and then was like, oh, I'm a minotaur, you know, like, and then everybody's just like, oh yeah, oh, I've seen those. I remember my childhood when I saw those. Like, how does these things happen? How does these? Oh, I need to sleep sometime. But yeah, I feel like I agree with Jeremy. I don't think dragons, as we look at them now, like the Game of Thronesy type way, or the that kind of thing. I don't think they existed like that.
Okay.
I would love to be wrong. Like, I would be ecstatic to know that I was wrong. Yeah. Like, if I was
do you want a dragon swooping down and taking
Absolutely.
your dog? Like,
honestly,
it's scary as fuck.
I wanted to try to come back down and get me, and then I pull out my longsword and deal 1d10 damage.
Yeah, I want to be crawling through a dungeon, and then
Some D&D humor, everyone.
Yeah, sorry, your turn. I've spoken and
fine.
gone on enough tangents.
Actually, you guys both said exactly what I said. I was thinking too. The ideas have to stem from someplace, whether it be someone seeing something they thought was something else, or an actual being of that. I would love to see that they were real and that they were still alive, maybe just in a long hibernation. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. I think if anything happened, I think they either died of old age. I assume probably like the mammoths, which we know are an actual thing. Some were killed by man because food was food. But I think either they're in hibernation. If they're real, they're in hibernation, or they died of some disease or something like that. Maybe human put in a disease that they couldn't handle or something like that. Their immune system. So I would love for it to be real, but it's one of those things I don't think they are. And as saddening that is to the inner nerd in me, I don't think they are real. So, but
I feel ya. I'm with you there.
Next one we're gonna have to talk about, and this one is gonna be a hot button topic, I think, a little bit, is Bigfoot.
Ooh, okay.
Sasquatch.
Hard, though.
Whatever you want to call him. Yeti is a different thing. Don't comments. I can hear you typing now. A Yeti is different from a Sasquatch. Anyways, Jeremy, thoughts on Bigfoot?
One.
So maybe.
Do you think it's a real thing, or was it just a big hairy man in the woods?
Ooh, possible.
So all the videos it's evidence for him, I think 99% of those are hoaxes.
Okay, but what about that 1%?
The 1%. So here's another weird thing. Like the immediate transition between Homo erectus to Homo sapien.
Yes.
So that jump and all the other, pseudo breeds or, different species of human and our descendants. Hold on one second. Fruit snacks.
You're good, buddy.
There you go.
Fruit snacks are important. They're a healthy part of your diet. Everyone eat fruit snacks. They're
But
delicious.
I think there's such a gap there that, like, why did they all die off all of a sudden? Like, why do we not still have an interspecial breeding situation going on? Like, why of all those different Homo classified species of human and our descendants, why are they not still around? But why are, like, different breeds of monkeys still around? Why are different species of apes still around? Like,
Okay.
when and how did that line get drawn?
Okay.
It's really odd that one species died out and left us to persist.
Unless they were killed off.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know. So I think that potentially if Bigfoot and or Sasquatches were real and are real, whatever that phrasing is, if they are, I think they would probably be some sort of ape/human descendant.
Okay.
It's just and maybe it's like a small pocket that got left over from an extinction situation. You know, it's just weird to me that humans evolved so rapidly and so efficiently.
Okay.
Rather than a lot of other species doing it. It's all part of that, like, I don't know, but, like, what the fuck? Like,
okay.
It makes you question, and it makes you really think on, like, why is the world the way it is, and, you know, where's all this information gone?
Okay. As a quick side note, and this is something William told me, so all my viewers out there, take this with a grain of salt, because William sometimes likes to speak out his ass. I love him to death, but anyways, so scientists are starting to notice that there's a possibility that the human race may actually evolve into two different species. A larger and more brutish species, and a smaller, more intelligent species.
Wait, is this Futurama?
Oh God.
It's the same thing, but they actually are starting to see the change with the children being born now. It's something that's like in the very early ages, and it'll probably be another 100 to 500 years before we'll ever like notice like a real difference. But I did read a study on it, and it makes sense. It does kind of look that way. So,
that kind of makes sense, because like, so at least around here, I see there's like a big difference between
Absolutely.
some people. So like, Eddie, you and I were over 6 foot. We're both.
Ow!
Well, Adam, you calm down. Let me get through this. So, you know, you and I are both well over 6 foot. You know, I'm 250 pounds. You're more. I don't know exactly.
300.
Yeah. So, like, we're big guys. We're real big guys. Yeah. And then there's like our friend Tyler. He's 5'8" and like 100 pounds soaking fucking wet. Maybe 150 at the most.
There's our friend Shane. He's 8 foot tall and he's like 20 pounds.
Yeah. So like but then there's also, you know, it seems to be that women nowadays are so much shorter.
Yeah. The national average for women has gone down like 2 inches or something like that in the past 40 years, which 2 inches over a national average is huge.
That's insane. So like, what's
happening?
The world average used to be, okay, so what did this is coming from like high school history memory, so take this with a grain of salt too. George Washington was like 5'11" or 6 foot, and he was considered a very, very tall man. Back, 250 years ago. So like the average used to be like 5'4", 5'5", somewhere in there. I don't know if that has to do with the way we gain nutrients now, that, you know, our bodies are able to grow so much bigger because there is an overabundance of food, and we're able to,
get the proper nutrients,
right, to let our bodies grow so much faster as adolescents.
Okay.
And then continue to grow up into our adult years. It's not like being cavemen and foraging for food or hunting for food, and what you have to kind of ration out until you can go get more. It's like, if I want more food, I go to the store and I buy whatever I want. If I spend $50 on food, that's a lot of fucking food. You know,
not really.
You can make it a lot of food. But it depends, and our calorie intakes can be enormous. We can have 4,000 to 5,000 calorie days if we wanted to, whereas our ancestors maybe
a 1,500 if they're lucky.
If they're real lucky. it might be 800 calories a day.
I would probably have to say my average caloric intake per day is probably somewhere in like high 3,000s, low 4,000. To be honest,
and we can have a lot. So that also goes back to, and sorry for this big long rant, everyone who wants to just fucking hear about us talk about Sasquatch, but that goes back to people of African descent.
okay.
So I'm not trying to be racist with this at all, but this is like a statistical thing. I've watched a couple documentaries on the evolution of man, and so people of African descent and people of, I think it's Asian descent, in the last few hundred years, probably like 500 to 1,000 years, somewhere in there, their bodies are differently, they process proteins and nutrients differently, specifically like calories and stuff. So like they have the ability to process nearly every single one of those calories and get as many nutrients and resources as they can out of those, whereas people of European descent maybe don't have that quite as much, because we developed farming and that sort of thing sooner.
Okay.
At least kind of, sort of. So then they're predisposed to more easily becoming obese and that sort of thing. Easily. Not in the same, like it takes, maybe a European person a little longer to process all of those calories and maybe not use all of them, and you lose a lot of them through, maybe going to the bathroom.
Okay.
Whereas those other, the other descendants can process like all 2,000 calories that they might take in a day, and their metabolism's a little slower too, so they like keep all of those nutrients with them longer.
Yeah.
So then they're more predisposed to building
excess.
Right. Their stockpile goes up a lot easier than maybe ours does.
So you're saying the reason I'm fat is because I'm Scottish?
Kind of, sort of, no.
No, that's what I'm reading. That's what you said. It's on you. You said this. For anybody watching, I just pointed to Jeremy on my screen.
But
it doesn't look the same in the thing. So but anyway,
all this boils back down to, like, your heritage.
I'm sure Tyler's part Scottish, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Scottish in English, so
yeah. So,
but back
to a living, breathing example.
Back to the
topic at hand.
Yeah, I lost it. We got talking.
Sasquatch.
Right, Sasquatch, but I was trying to fall back to my topic I brought up that I don't even remember.
The caloric intake of different
before that. I lost it.
The genetic
the thing you said, the differences in people.
Yeah.
Just to kind of work my way backwards.
Yeah,
so like but then like women are so short. And a lot of men seem to just be so goddamn tall. I don't know that it was ever really that way.
No, because I think even in like the early 1900s, everyone was women and men were about the same size. Obviously, there's gonna be exceptions to people that are like extremely tall, extremely short, and stuff like that. But just in the last 40 years, the averages have shifted so much, and I think the man's average actually went up a half an inch, which is still huge in comparison to how many men are in America and all the collective heights. So it's crazy. It's something I thought was cool, and I thought something maybe some other people would think was cool. So, but Bigfoot. You said you don't know if he's
I don't
real
know.
or
I don't know.
dude,
I really don't know.
Okay. Adam?
Was there... Okay, I don't... Bigfoot knowledge isn't great, but, like, there was talk of it before that really popular video came out, right? Like, the video that everybody goes, oh, the Bigfoot video.
Like 40s, like Bigfoot hunter. Like Bigfoot hunters came around like in the 80s, I do believe. Like when they actually like went out and physically like documented them hunting them. I'm sure it's been a thing for a very long time, but I know like 80s is I think when it got big.
Right, in America at least. But there's also like the Tibetan like myths of Yetis, obviously. You know, the creature that'll snatch you up if you're up on a mountain hiking or camping or
yeah, but there's like one specific real weird story that like just never got explained about that whole side of things. Like, their tent was just like tore open. They had all fled for some reason, and were like some of them were just naked, and, like others of them just like jumped into a frozen river. I can't remember what the exact story is.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something about that, but that was a very long time ago. So
yeah, I'll try to find it. Maybe you can put it in like a link or something. But like it's so weird. But it's tough. I don't know. You know, because I feel like there are things on the earth that we don't know about yet. Because just recently they like found more stuff in the ocean. They're like, oh, weird, never knew that was there. And you know, that's kind of crazy to think about because you know we're finding things like thousands of miles away in space, but we can't even find stuff on our own planet. Like, that's scary. But I think that something this long with so many people after this one thing would have actually no evidence, or as in like just direct proof. Like, well, we didn't just find footprints. This is him.
Okay.
It would be like, so what I think happened maybe is like, initially it started as this thing where, you know, either some guy was just being a dick and was like, you know, it'd be really cool if I made up a story about this really tall, big, hairy guy, and then I'd scare all my kids with it so they would go to bed on time, or something like that. Or they, like, saw something, like Jeremy was saying, like a weird ape or a bear that happened to be walking upright, and they're like, oh my god, ah! And then they're like, it's a Bigfoot. And then, like, I don't know, like that popular video that people, or the Bigfoot video that I think has since been proven to people, but yeah. Just kidding. I was pretending like I was speaking, but just moving my mouth and not making sound.
Thanks.
No problem.
It's been proven, but what?
I think that video has been proven to be fake a couple times. Like you could see a zipper or something. I think those guys weren't even. I don't know if they were intending to get as popular as they did.
I think maybe it's just a joke.
Yeah, I don't think any of
and
them
then it took off, and they were like, "Well, we can't just like be like, just kidding now, because
we're in too deep. Might as well start grabbing our stuff. It goes deeper."
Yeah, right. And so then they're like, we also found footprints," and then he's like, "Right?" And then his friend's like, "Oh, yeah, huge, but yeah, crazy. Where are they? Oh,
sure, somewhere.
Go get them." You make a cast of a footprint. Yeah, but like, I just feel like it'd be tough. Like, yeah, this thing exists for sure. Before we have. Goes back to the whole Jesus thing. It's like, well, we believe and we don't see. Yeah, but he is also dead.
Right.
You can't find him. Sasquatch isn't, or Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, isn't like considered dead. They're not like, oh, well, they're extinct, because there's still people like, no, they're real, we're hunting them. Would have found one by now, you think, you know? It's like if, like, somebody tries to make the religious argument, like, if Jesus was still around, you would have found him by now. That's not the argument, because it's just not relevant. In all the books, he's not on Earth anymore. But, it's that kind of thing. Like, it's just like...
I have a counter argument.
Like, yeah, and I'm sure there are tons, and a lot of people are probably going to be upset that I'm saying it like that.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Like, as a kid, I was definitely like, oh, yeah, Bigfoot's real. I'm going to hunt them when I get older. But then as, like, you know, a week passes, and I'm like,
what's a Bigfoot?
They're cool. Yeah, like, I don't know. I was a weird kid. But, I definitely had all those books at one point, like, and was looking at them. like comparing the pictures, and I was like, I've seen one. And, like, but, yeah, that's tough, dude. But that's I guess all I have to say about it because
Don't know.
Okay. Bigfoot does exist. I've seen William walk through my house at night before.
It's pretty hairy.
But on a more serious note, to bring it back to what Jeremy said, the leap from Homo erectus to Homo sapien. What if, and this is me playing devil's advocate here a bit, there are hundreds of thousands of miles between the crust of the Earth and the core of the Earth. So what to say that they didn't get driven underground?
Mole people.
Yeah.
Oh no!
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
But
about
no,
that.
honestly, because that could explain where that missing link was and how it died, or how it disappeared. I would say. I mean, there's so much room underneath the ground that it could be underneath my feet right now, and I would have no idea. So, especially in the area we live in mountains. We live in a mountain range. So, I mean, shit, it could be something in the mountains. So, I mean, bears hibernate in caves and mountains. What's to say there's not a whole civilization down there? So
yeah, I watched another thing about the birth of humanity, and they in Africa and like the fur. No, though that's a like Middle East. The birthplace of humanity, whatever that's called, in Africa. They found a bunch of a species of of a missing link in a cave system underground, and they found and they kind of used it as a burial site, I guess. It seemed to be that way, at least in the show. I don't remember any of these shows' names, but it's like look it up. They were like Discovery or BBC or something like that. And they talked about them, or History Channel maybe even, but History Channel I kind of with them. Yeah, they're a little. It might have been It might be a Nat Geo. It might be a National Geographic. Documentary series or something like that. But that I kind of can see what you're thinking there. Okay.
So, but it's one of those things. Is once we get viable proof, a lot, and I don't know if this is just people in general, it's the human race, they don't want to believe what they can't see, and sometimes they don't want to believe what they do see. So I don't know if maybe that's something wrong with our psyche or whatever, but it's one of those things that will truly never have an answer unless evidence is found, regardless. So, but those are my thoughts on it, and I think if Bigfoot does exist, or a Sasquatch or anything like that, if they do exist and are a sustaining ecosystem, they have made something underground. And the thing is we'll never be able to explore down that much. I mean, you can do sonographs and stuff like that, but you're not going to pick up a lot of things. So, but before I keep blathering on about that, we're going to move on to our final mythological creature, and the music I'm listening to just fucking it slapped right there. It was awesome. Anyways, the Loch Ness Monster, Old Nessie. What are your thoughts on it? Let me real quick before we get into Old Nessie. For anybody who doesn't know what Old Nessie is, the Loch Ness Monster is supposed to be a monster that lives in the Loch Ness Lake, in I think Scotland. It's either Scotland or Ireland.
It's Scotland.
Scotland.
I believe.
Okay, it's
Google.
one of the.
Where is Loch Ness located? I think it's Scotland.
Here's a map of Loch Ness, United Kingdom.
UK, Scottish Highlands, yeah.
Scottish Highlands. So Scotland. It's a creature that they say looks like a Bronchiosaurus. There's an actual dinosaur that looked the same way.
Plesiosaurus.
Plesiosaurus. So they have a giant round body, a giant long neck, a small face. It's said to be an herbivore, and then fins. That's what it's described as, and people have so-called taken pictures of it. And obviously, all the pictures you see of any creature are skeptical, especially in this day and age where Photoshop is very easy to figure out. So, but a lot of these pictures are old before the internet was the thing. So I want to know your thoughts on Old Nessie. Is she real? And the thing is, that's the other thing I thought was weird. Before you get into it, Old Nessie has always been referred to as a woman, as a female gender. So, anyways, take it away, boys.
Okay. Eddie, turn your light on while I'm talking, please.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that's been this whole episode. I've been very skeptical on everything in this episode because I tend to fall into that category of I don't know, unless I can have some sort of information to tell me yes or no. I don't know. I think that the legend that goes with the Loch Ness monster, I think that legend is a little odd. The fact that maybe only a singular being can live in the loch for that long, to be that humongous. I mean, the Loch Ness is gigantic. It's miles and miles and miles long.
And miles deep.
Yeah. Maybe not miles deep, but I think it's like a mile deep at one point or something. It's deep. It's real big. It's real big. But I think the fact that a singular creature that large could evade humans for that long in an isolated lake would be hard to prove yet right.
Okay.
I think that would be hard because there's not a lot of fish in that lake, like large breeds at least. There's some, but not a ton. So like the sustainable food source for that, and I mean it's Scotland. It gets cold there too. So
unless Nessie's an omnivore, which for those who don't understand is something that
meat
eats
or
meat and plants.
Right. So I just think that the total food source you would need for a creature that large it would be hard to
keep up with.
Yeah, I don't think it would be able to sustain that for long. Yeah, maybe a little while, but not as long as they've said it's been there. And the legend of the Loch Ness monster has been around for a long time.
I think like the 1700s or something like that.
Yeah, it's been several hundred years. So like maybe at one point, yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Or maybe they found bones of similar, other plesiodons, or maybe a whale, like a sort of deformed whale washed up on shore or died in the same vicinity as maybe a brachiosaur did. And then
Also happened to be my nickname in high school.
What was that?
What shore?
Formed whale.
A deformed whale.
Adam, stop. But, maybe there was some coincidence that came about that brought this legend into being, but I just don't think that form of creature could live that long, live in the area it does live in, and still be unseen. I'm skeptical, but I'm really on the I don't really believe side.
Okay.
Adam, what do you think, man?
I mean, yeah, in terms of like real life, yeah, I agree with you. Like, especially because they have it pinned down to one area. Like, if you really want to know, you just freaking search that area. It's not like Bigfoot where it's like, it could be actually anywhere. Like, they have it pinned down to one. I don't want to call it a lake because it's a lake.
It's a lake. Loch is the Scottish word for lake.
One like area of water.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like, if you really want to know, you just figure it out. Like, so I'd say no because scientists would have been like, oh, but by the way, we did some research. Loch Ness monster, real.
I will say, to cut you off real quick, they have sonar'd it before. The entire lake.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't find anything.
Right,
Now,
yeah.
skeptics out there would be like, oh, it knew where the detectors were and moved around it. So, there's always going to be that person. But I just want to say they have done research and they didn't find anything. So, but continue on with your thought.
All you believers and big thinkers out there, what if? Now, all right, ready? Are you ready for this? End of the Bermuda Triangle is in Scotland. Oh. So wait. You know how nothing works in the Bermuda Triangle?
Yes.
Whenever things like that happen on the Loch Ness, he just swims through that, and then bam, she's back at the Bermuda Triangle to where she gets the food that is passing through or over. Just the people in innocent lives lost in the Bermuda Triangle, and then she'll come back and reside in the Loch Ness. But
So
whenever they're like,
time out. You
Okay.
think that old Nessie can somehow teleport herself hundreds of miles into the ocean to survive in a saltwater area?
Yeah.
First off, Loch Ness
got a
the Loch
filter.
is a freshwater place. Survive, eat there, bamf back.
Yeah, there's a portal at the bottom of Loch Ness.
That's what it is. No, there's a wizard. There's a wizard that lives nearby.
They're
That's
looking in the wrong place. You know how they can't find any of the stuff that's disappeared, like Amelia Earhart? Yeah, she's at the bottom of Loch Ness. You never looked there, you idiots. Bring thoughts.
Every part of the scientist in me wants to scream. Every single part.
Dude, if somehow that's right someday, you're all gonna be
I'll
blown
shit my
away.
pants.
I will
Okay.
too, honestly. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
So
but,
so
no,
Adam pulled
but-
together. He just pulled
I don't
together
really think
so many theories in that one little blurb. It's just absolutely amazing.
It's for the believers out there.
Oh my goodness. Continue.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You don't think so?
no, not really.
Okay.
Any?
the same. I don't think. I think it maybe at one point, like Jeremy said, that there may have been a creature, maybe not as big as people described it, that lived in there. Maybe an old dinosaur that somehow survived this long, or maybe a mutation of certain fishes. Yeah, fishes. For some reason I want to say
That
I wanted to
works
say
too.
fish eye.
Fishes works.
Yeah, I wanted to say fish eye for some reason. I was like, that's not right.
It's
Anyways,
a real thing too.
A fish eye.
Oh,
I see.
fuck you. But, I think maybe at one point, yes, there was a creature of that stature, but I don't think it's alive anymore. Like you said, Jeremy, the amount of food that being alone would have to consume, I don't think that lake has enough. What's the word?
Vegetation and
Resources to supply it. So
yeah, it's just an immense amount of everything.
the only thing that could save it is if its metabolism was super high, meaning that it ate once a month and then didn't have to eat the rest of the month. That's the only thing I could
Low
think
metabolism,
that would possibly
I think.
save it that way. Yeah, well,
Slow,
Whatever-
just slow. That like took a long time to process food, like snakes.
So we can-
Maybe it doesn't need food. Maybe it lives off the sun.
Cosmic rays.
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. So, all right, boys, it's been going for a while. Adam's delirious. Jeremy looks like he's about to strangle Adam, and
Maybe.
Tomorrow.
But
so it was a good discussion. I thought it was weird. I don't know. Like I said, people, once again, if you've listened this far, I really do thank you.
Yeah, seriously, especially this
episode, oh my god.
Oh boy, I've said a lot of things.
I
I
I
assume most people clicked off at the paint thing.
Pete.
I don't. Well, when you explained it the whole way, it was actually a pretty good analogy, to be honest. You had me in the first half. I was like, well, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
So
Blame.
we're working on merch. We'll so hopefully we get stuff figured out here pretty quick. And then we'll. Oh, Jeremy's got it.
Yeah. So I've talked to someone I know who does that sort of work. They do decals and t-shirt design and that sort of thing.
Okay.
I don't have any prices yet. I would the best way I think we're gonna do orders is we're gonna have to set up a website and people, as they want them, they can order them, and I can get a hold of our distributor and do things that way. So we're going to try and get some designs up and see what we can do. So it'll be coming sooner than I think a lot of people were hoping for. Because it is a process, but it's on its way. I actually talked to them today. They haven't given me for sure prices yet, but they said they'd be able to probably do not super high volumes, but smaller runs. And if we get into the stage where we need high volume, we can change the distributor.
Well, we got people.
We haven't talked about this as a group yet, but all the proceeds from our merch will go back into the podcast. None of us are keeping this money.
Yeah.
It's going to be for better equipment, better everything, just to give everyone a better experience in total. So none of us are pocketing any of this. So is what I'm trying to get at.
Maybe a router that isn't fucking dog shit. Sorry. Sorry. Wow.
Or maybe we can just set up a studio. What?
Oh,
maybe.
So
the studio.
I have an extra room in my house that I don't use for anything at all.
Hey, you build stuff, just build a studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
But things are on their way. Things are in the process of getting worked out. So, give us ideas. We really, 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 really want your ideas because we want it to be something you guys will buy. We don't want it to just be something that we like and that, one other person's going to buy and that's it. So
we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you up to date. As soon as the website drops, there'll probably be its own video to let you know, hey, go look at our stuff. Go, tell us what you want to buy and, give us some submissions. I think that's it.
Adam, do the outro.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and a subscribe and share with your friends and family. Don't click off to the end of the video and make sure you stick around for all the ad revenue. Just kidding, we don't get paid for this. We're just doing it because we like it. Please don't leave.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.